Hey everyone, it's Dylan from the Black Forest Wood Company. This week we're going to be taking this very interesting slab of Clara walnut and turning it into a custom river table for our client down in the United States. So the first step for any table that we're doing is to flatten it on our Avid CNC machine. The reason being that we flatten our pieces before we pour is just so that we can get them to actually sit flat on the bottom of our mold. You could, I guess, hypothetically pour them rough, but then you get epoxy that's leaking underneath in many areas of the slab. And there's oftentimes like a lot of dirt and dust that gets trapped in those rough saw marks. So by flattening it, you kind of eliminate all of those worries and you can just have a lot cleaner pour this way. Once we've got it roughly flattened, then it's time to actually split this piece down the middle to form the river that the client wants. So we use a chalk line to actually mark the center on that. So that's what you're seeing here right now. And then to actually split this slab down the middle, instead of using our Festool track saw, we bust out the skill saw for this. We find that for big cuts like this, the skill saw just does a lot cleaner and better job. It's obviously not as precise, but since this is just a rough cut for the mold, we find it a lot easier this way.
I've blown this thing off like 3 times, but also bark falls out of these holes if you like touch it funny. Cool. So as soon as we set it down, it's gonna like shoot dust everywhere. Perfect. And here, yeah, you can pass that side to Curtis. I think we'll have to do it on. And then. Oh man, that's tight.
Yeah, I'm like ripping the tape off on this side.
Yeah, it's.
Can you?
Okay, stand it up on edge, and I just want to see if it'll fall down. If we kind of, I think we can just skill saw off that end.
Yeah.
So if we just like swing this over so that it overhangs into the middle of the room there, because there's no wet pores in here, so we can just cheat.
That's true.
Let me go get this.
Once we've got the slabs in the mold, we can go ahead and actually start pigmenting the resin. So this client just wanted a slight tint to their resin here. Well, I guess actually a pretty dark tint in this case. This is a little darker than what we usually do. It was still enough so that you could see through the table a little bit, but it wasn't so much that you're looking at your feet or looking at the floor in the finished product of the table. And of course, as always, we're using our Black Forest deep resin for these pours. By using that, we're able to pour like 2.5 inches here in a single shot. But another thing that I should mention that isn't really obvious here is we have full liquid cooling incorporated into our pour tables. So below that white sheet of plastic that you see, which is HDPE, there's a sheet of aluminum. And then below that, there's copper tubing that's running the whole length of the table with chilled water constantly circulating throughout it. So that kind of helps to control the exothermic reaction of the resin, which prevents you from getting bubbles, prevents it from cracking, and it also allows the resin to stay liquid for a longer period of time, which allows the resin to soak farther into the pores of the wood and form a stronger bond.
Pull it out and we can fix.
After the pour, we bring it downstairs and it's back onto the Avid CNC for more flattening. Now this, we're not so much trying to take a warp or a cup out of the piece of the wood, we're just trying to take this excess overpour that we've added on top of the piece here. I should also mention why we do the overpour, because we always get a lot of questions about this. It's really only because labor is expensive in our shop. We overpour so that we can get all of the cracks and voids in a single shot without having to go back after the main pour and fill them in one by one. For us, it's cheaper to just use some extra epoxy than have to pay our hourly shop rate and have one of our staff members go ahead and fill those one by one. So for you as a hobbyist, if you don't have the expensive overhead, it might make more sense to do it one by one, but for us, we're just trying to get it done fast. And then we're just laying out for the leg pockets to attach the custom trestle base that we're building for this piece. So to mount all of our table bases, we always tend to use steel plates. Typically the steel plate will screw into the top of the table base, and then we have laser cut slotted holes that are in that plate that allow our threaded inserts to go through. Since those holes are slotted, it allows for some expansion and contraction in the tabletop itself. Then here, we're just using our Mirka sander to go ahead and take these pieces up to 320 grit. And one thing you can see Michael doing here as well is he's just taken that sander very carefully to break the edges and add a bit of a bevel. You do have to be careful doing this, obviously, as it's really easy to accidentally round it over if you're not careful. Once that's done, it's over to Gecko for them to go ahead and apply the 2-component acrylic urethane that they put on this piece. So again, I want to mention the reason between a urethane and an oil finish. It really depends on the lifestyle and the preference of the client. If the client values a natural feel more so than durability, we always direct them to an oil finish, because that's going to allow you to actually feel the wood grain without any plastic layer over top of that. If the client's main concern is durability and they don't want to have to do any maintenance to keep their piece looking good, we direct them towards the sprayed urethane. They're actually resistant in terms of liquid resistance all the way up to sulfuric acid, so most clients will never see that on their table, but should it happen, if they have a polyurethane, they're protected. And the final, probably most important step to any of the finishes we do, whether it's an oil finish or a urethane finish, is our Black Forest ceramic coating. So that's what Curtis is applying here right now. He's just using a block on one of our applicator pads to apply it to the surface, and then he's using a microfiber attached to one of our gem polishers to actually work all of that product in and remove the excess. The ceramics just add a level of hydrophobics to the surface, so all water is going to bead off, and it's also going to increase your abrasion resistance. And now it's time to begin work on our custom trestle base. So this is actually an older design for us. We've offered this design for I think over 10 years, but people just seem to not be getting sick of it. It is still one of our most popular base options to this day. Again, really clean, really simple, very traditional. It also, one thing that I think is quite neat about it is it features some wedge joinery. So that's what you can see Christian putting together here right now. He's pounding the vertical member of the trestle through the horizontal foot. And then after, we actually have little wedges that pound into the end and hold everything in place.
They're supposed to fall through there, so that when you screw it together, it's just grab it on that.
Yep.
Right? And a little bit of wax on the end of your screw, and boom. Now, make sure the grain's running the right way.
Yes.
Right?
All
It's
right.
like Lego, boys.
Yeah.
Right?
Big boy Lego.
Okay.
High stakes Lego, I like it.
So with our trestle bases, we like to pre-finish all of the individual components before assembly. That way we just ensure that we don't have any unfinished surfaces everywhere. It does mean though that you have to be extra careful when you're putting everything together, but in the end it kind of just makes for a better look. Here you can see those slotted holes that I was talking about earlier. So we've got that plate that's screwed into the top of our trestle base. And what's being done here right now, we're actually drilling out for the Rampa threaded inserts that we're going to use to attach the base. So again, we sell these Rampa threaded inserts on our website, and we find them to be the easiest solution to attach a table base to a table. Can't forget about our nice pewter cast brand that we've added to this piece as well. Those, shout out to Blue Badger Branding, that's where we got those from, and they're just a nice touch to all of our pieces. So this slab turned out beautifully in my opinion. It's a piece of California Clara walnut from our friends down at GL Veneer, and this piece was quite unique because it almost kind of had this, I guess, bird's eye kind of figuring going throughout it, which is really kind of uncommon to see for walnut. And then it also just had nice curly grain going throughout the whole thing. So really, really cool piece in my opinion. I quite like it when there's those kind of random branches that come off and additional voids, more so than just your straight linear river down the middle. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know if you like this style of table. And if you made it all the way till the end of the video, start your comment with Clara Walnut and we'll know that you watched till now, and we will do our best to get back to everyone who made it to the end. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. So there's also been complaints that there hasn't been enough Charlie in the videos. He has been on a little bit of a strike lately. I guess he doesn't feel like there's been enough treats or belly rubs, obviously, as you can see. So we're doing our best to keep him happy and get him satisfied, and hopefully his strike will end soon.